I'm going to call the meeting for the pre-council meeting for the City of Ashtabula to order. Today is Monday, April 6th, 2026. So would you please call the roll?
Mr. Roskovich,
Here.
Mr. Simeone,
Here.
Mrs. Foglio,
Here.
Mr. Guerrero,
Here.
Ms. Holman, Mrs. Mills,
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Here.
Mr. Timonier,
Here.
Ms. Cooper,
Here.
Mr. Khan.
Here.
I didn't see Vlad come in.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we are all good to go. We have our membership tonight. No, that we don't excuse till the next meeting anyway. Okay. President reports, regular meeting review. I don't have anything to share other than our next meeting. We're back on Mondays, so the 20th, April 20th will be our next meeting. And then other than that, I don't think there's anything outstanding, so we will go on to our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few ordinances to go over with you really quickly here. So we were contacted by the Ohio Department of Development stating that they were interested in us applying for a downtown buildings flexible grant program application. So the ordinance that you will consider tonight is to make application to the State of Ohio Department of Development for a downtown buildings flexible grant program in the amount of $245,000 to assist with a project located at 1104 Bridge Street. This is the Rennick restaurant in the harbor. They are talking about expanding their upstairs. And we've used this grant on a few different things, been talking to a few different owners about the use of this program. This particular owner and business is ready to go. So when they made the call, we jumped on it as quickly as we could. It is due by the end of this month, so we have a short time frame to get this in. The next ordinance, we've been talking about this for a while. We did get the bids in and have everything approved, so we'd like an ordinance to enter into a contract with Param Electric to upgrade the West 19th Lake Avenue, West Avenue traffic signal in the amount not to exceed $41,700. That expense will be paid from Fund 412. And then the long-awaited 2026 paving program, Koski Construction won that bid, was the apparent low bid for this. So paving the city streets in the amount not to exceed $655,914.50. The expense will be spread over funds 212, 209, and 219. Those lists of streets that were approved are Myrtle Avenue between West 10th and West 11th, Gladding Avenue, East 16th Street from Columbus Avenue to Harbor Avenue, Dunsmore Avenue, Coleman Avenue, West 38th Street from Lake Avenue to the terminus, Perrysville from Fort Avenue to Samuel Avenue, Dunbar, West 8th Street from Union Avenue to Arlington, and then, of course, we have West 19th Street. This isn't included in this bid, but also being paved this year. West 19th Street from Lake Avenue, the West Avenue intersection to the western city limits, and, of course, the Collins Boulevard project that will be started later this year.
Okay, good, yeah. Yeah, that needs a bit.
The Finance Department and both the Finance Department and Police Department have items that they wish to declare obsolete and dispose of. So those two ordinances are on your agenda for tonight. We finally got to the bottom of the most recent street sweeper repair that's necessary. Long story short, it's in need of a new secondary engine for the back of it. It needs to be replaced, so we did find a new one. It's a CAT engine through Ascendance Truck Centers. So I'd like an ordinance to enter into a contract with them to fix that street sweeper in the amount not to exceed $24,515.93, and that expense will come from Fund 412. The engine is sourced overseas, but again, it is a brand new engine, comes from their factories. It does take anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks, depending on all the interesting stuff that's happening around the world. So we'd like to move on that quickly. Those ordinances that I mentioned so far are all on your agenda for consideration. The next ordinances are just for first readings. The next one is a contract with Best Truck Equipment to purchase a Skag zero-turn and a push mower for the Parks and Recreation Department. That expense will be paid from Fund 412 in an amount not to exceed $16,963. Best Truck Equipment is on the Sourcewell program, so the bidding is done for us and we get preferred pricing because of that. There are two Community Reinvestment Area, CRA residential applications that have been submitted to us. Both of these are permanent resident for owner occupied. The first one is for Sean Hooch, residential new construction at 1814 West 10th Street. And they're requesting 100% for 7 years. And the next one is for Mitchell Molaski and Amanda Wood for residential construction, again, owner occupied, 2602 Brook Lane. They are also requesting 100% for 7 years. I would like a voice vote on the following. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources will be doing the river cleanup again this year. We have donated the disposal of the items that they pick up at the transfer station for that cleanup. Council is the only one that can waive those fees, so I would like to request a voice vote for the donation of disposal at the transfer station for the 2026 river cleanup.
Mr. President, can I ask the city manager a couple questions?
Go right ahead. Yes.
Mr. City Manager, the status of the ditching project on Garfield?
I am not sure where that stands. I know that they were finishing up a ditch today on West 58th Street. They have a list of different areas they're hitting, so I can check on that.
Thank you. And then, could you expand a little bit about on this grant? As wonderful it is for those people that are getting it, I did get a little static. Like, has anyone else availed the opportunity to submit a?
Yeah, there's actually been two businesses so far in the harbor that have inquired about it and received it in the past. There's another business in the harbor that's looking at it down the road. We've had a couple of businesses up here on Main Avenue that we've suggested it to. People reach out to us and ask about opportunities.
Now, is that limited to those specific areas?
I don't believe so, but they do have to be in business districts, I believe. I'll have to go back and look at the grant.
Do we have defined business districts in the,
Well, the harbor and downtown are two defined business districts, yes.
any other business districts?
I don't know that for sure, but we can look into that and provide that information to you.
I would thank you very much for that.
Sure.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I have some questions for the manager. So, was our paving project, wasn't the amount supposed to be more than that? Did we come under?
It was, the estimates were around $700,000, so we're close. So now remember, every year, there is a certain percentage set aside for full depth repairs. A lot of these roads are not gonna need full depth repairs. If there is the opportunity to get a little bit more out of this program, we'll do some change orders after they do some milling and while the program's going on.
Well, that's good news that we were less than.
But again, remember, there's money set aside for,
Oh, you just
the
know
West
how my
19th
mind works.
and there's money set aside this year for the Collins Boulevard. So that's why that number is lower.
And then, and I'm sure you have, but I'm gonna ask this anyhow. I know there was an article in the newspaper about Aqua making cuts into the roads. None of the roads in this list are on Aqua's list?
Both Aqua and Dominion have been notified of all of these roads, and have been told if they need to do anything on these roads, do it now before we start.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I have one question, I forgot. I noticed that we were putting a catch basin in on Harbor Avenue. Looked like city trucks over there doing it.
Might have been a repair.
It was a repair of the catch basin. Just to the north of that is just an absolute disaster on both sides of the road. I know we can't.
Catch basins or
No,
paving?
I
road
mean,
itself?
it's at a critical point right now where you have to drive down the center line or you're gonna lose a rim. I know we can't pave it, obviously, but is there any way when the asphalt plant opens, if we could just like temporarily patch both sides of that road. I mean, I've gotten a few calls. I drive down Harbor Avenue every day. It is a huge safety hazard.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager, or Mr. President, also on Walnut Boulevard down by Joe Arquette's house, it's really bad again.
Yeah, that's getting.
The cut there.
Yes, and they haven't fixed it, and we put stone in it, and
Yeah,
the
I don't think the
stone helps.
permanent repair has been made there
No,
yet.
no,
Yeah.
but if we could just put something in there so that,
Yes.
you know, a
Yeah.
biker
The
doesn't.
asphalt plant should be opening up here pretty soon, so a lot of these permanent repairs by, you know, the Aquas and the ones that we've cut, we have a round of street cuts out right now that was in the paper advertised. I think those bids are due back on the 21st, so probably the first meeting in May. We'll have a list of patching that you're gonna have to approve from all of our cuts over the winter.
Mr. President, I do have one more question that I forgot about, and I just remembered. And I don't know, I was sent a couple texts about the future use of Ashtabula High School's property. Can you say anything about that?
Right now, I don't, there was a project that was interested in there. I don't know the status of it at this time, but I do not believe, I mean, the library owns it, so that
Okay,
would have to be communicated with them.
all right. I was asked about it.
Sure.
Mr. President,
Is there- oh,
Mr. Timmerner, for the two tax abatements that are listed, unless I'm missing something, we typically have their application.
I
And our
believe
stuff, and
that's
I
part of the
didn't-
ordinances that were in, I think it was included as attachments, exhibits to those ordinances.
I missed them. I know there were 81 pages, but I didn't see them.
I
I
don't,
got the streets last time.
I don't see it in
Not on
I
in the
remember seeing the list.
GPD thing or anything here. I don't,
What ordinance is that?
65.
Ms. Milberg, do you recall them being a part?
No,
Actually, it doesn't.
so the
Page 18.
applications were in Matrix. Kelly had put them in there. And then when the solicitor's office approved the ordinance, she took the exhibits out for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know why she took them
Okay.
out, but they were not included.
Okay, so this is a first reading. I can email that to council tomorrow.
Mr. Manager, I don't see the streets on a,
We're gonna get.
They're not within the ordinances.
They're not within the
Yeah,
ordinance.
no, those were all sent to you guys earlier on when we made the determination. I just wrote them all down to make sure I could announce them tonight for the record.
okay.
Mr. Simeone?
I can email those to you if you'd like.
Thank you. A
also.
fresh,
Yep.
thank you.
And I had a question about, somebody asked me a week or so ago, and they said that they thought Woodman was on the list a couple years ago and had got taken off. I said, you know, I wasn't here at that time, and my only assumption might have been that with all the work that was gonna be done eventually with those buildings coming down, it didn't make sense to drive
Yeah.
big, heavy equipment, and I said maybe that, so.
There was discussion about Woodman a few years back, but we did do North Woodman, north of Route 20.
Okay.
That has been paved.
That was
I think that was last year that we did that one.
Okay.
And I did beg for the other part.
Yeah, yeah.
But, and my assumption was that even this year, with, you know, we
With
didn't know
the
when all that was
decrease
gonna
that
get
we-
done.
right,
Yeah,
mhm,
so.
yep.
Mr. Timmerman, could I ask, last week we approved a tax abatement, you know, the committee went, the review committee, and we reapproved the tax abatements.
Oh, yes,
The eight
yes, yeah,
commercial
the
ones.
commercial ones.
Yeah,
yes.
I was just wondering how, I go by Lake City Plating,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks to me like I don't know if they're dismantling or cleaning out the building on the west side
West
of
side,
Lake.
yes, mhm.
And tonight when I came, I think I only saw like 4 or 5 cars on the east side of Lake. So is anything happening there affecting this tax abatement?
No, so actually, I think their tax abatement expires this year.
Okay.
For the east side of the road. They did not have a tax abatement for the west side.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that does
so it's only on the new
irrelevant.
buildings on the east side.
Yeah.
Their staffing level of what they promised to do over there did not change, even though they've opened this other location in Jefferson. And they have decommissioned the west side. They're not gonna be using that building anymore. Most of the employees have gone over to the east side. But they will not make a full move to Jefferson. At least they've been telling us for the next 3 years. So it might be longer than that.
So are they gonna, that west side is gonna be empty?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a lot of cleanup there to do, and they're
Actually, my
even,
next question, are
yes,
they gonna
yes, they
be
are,
responsible with that? 'Cause-
correct. And a lot of that's going on right now, and then there has been some discussion about demolition of the buildings as well.
Oh, really?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because, the nature of their business.
Right, it's got to be, yeah,
That has to be watched.
they're
Yeah.
under EPA mandates to do
Yeah,
all that.
I would
Yep.
imagine. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Yes,
Mr. Timonier, along with that question, is this the same group of commercial tax abatements that the committee reviewed, that we talked about?
Yes. Mhm.
And I asked you about what agreements and stuff that were, what were the agreements that that the businesses of the applications made? And you said whatever those agreements were, that committee would review
Reviews
them?
those, yes.
Do you know if the committee ever asked for evidence of what those agreements were?
Yeah, and as I've mentioned, every year, those businesses are required to fill out a form that states their current payroll, their current employee enrollment, and that they're meeting those standards. So there's, every year, they have a form to fill out with us that committee reviews.
Mr. President,
yes.
I have one more question. So on the street sweeper repair, once we spend this 24,000, then everything works?
It should. I mean, it is still an old vehicle. A new vehicle is over $300,000. This one, I do believe, and from what we're being told, still has life to it. So this is the secondary engine that's in the rear. So the chassis, the main engine, all of that's good. Most of the components, we actually did a major
It's
upgrade
like a
on the.
brand-new machine now, isn't
We've
it?
we've had a major upgrade on the internal belts and things like that about 2 or 3 years ago. So now redoing this motor, they had to take apart a lot of the motor to get to the real gut reasons why it wasn't working, and it's not repairable at this point, so it has to be a new engine.
So I have no problem spending the money, I just don't want to throw good money after bad.
Correct, and we were debating that over and over, but I'm confident that this machine still has some life in it. But that is a plan looking forward that we do need to look at the purchase of a new machine.
So when you say some life, is that like a year, 2 years,
No, I
5
would imagine we'll
years?
get 2, 3 at least out of it, if not more. And then, having it in running condition, we'll have a better resale value on it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timoney.
Mr.
We need a
President?
voice vote on that transfer station.
We could do that now?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All
Mr. Pre-
those in favor
Mr.
of a-
President?
I'm sorry,
Mr. President?
yes.
Oh, I was just going to tell Mrs. DiGiacomo, so for Public Works, in the report about the street sweeper, we did talk about cost of a new one, but we talked about leasing one, because this may not get fixed till June. And so lots of complaints about the street. So we talked about maybe considering bringing in a crew to do services depending on the cost, between getting that fixed. But this is a secondary engine, so, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills.
Mr. President?
yes.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
In the 44 years I've been here, I can't remember a year where the street sweeper was functional. All year. It's just,
There's
it's
a lot
something
of-
that just, we just don't have luck with the street sweeper.
There's a lot of
It used to
moving
be a real
pieces to
joke.
those machines.
Yeah.
We're looking at the new technology that's out there. Ours is like more of a conveyor system.
Right.
The newer ones have very good vacuum
Sweeper,
systems.
yeah.
And so there's a lot less moving parts in those, but then the expense comes along with it and a lot more upkeep, changing filters and things like that. But it's getting better. Ours is just more mechanical than it is that vacuum type.
We've just always had trouble with the street sweeper. Always.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
One of the meetings, was it Cuyahoga County? One of the guys in our meeting, maybe it was Mr. Verzella, they were talking that other municipalities have the same issues with these, and so they have so much earmarked for all these repairs, like 100,000 they earmark or whatever. So I'm like,
We don't earmark
that's the
that
business
much,
to get
but yeah.
into.
Absolutely.
Is
Well, and we had a very difficult time,
expensive.
just so you're aware, we had a very difficult time obtaining quotes on this. So this company fixes CAT engines, their specialty is in this. and they were able to take it and look at it. We had difficult time obtaining quotes for this. That's why it took so long.
So you're looking at June, is what I heard.
Potentially, like I said, it's 2 to 6 weeks from the time, tomorrow we'll give them the go-ahead, but it's 2 to 6 weeks to get it in, and then they gotta put it in the machine. Once we give them the go-ahead, our hope is they'll strip everything out, have it ready to go when the engine arrives.
Thank you.
All right, with that in mind, then, I would ask the manager has made a request that we waive the transfer station fees for the river cleanup for 2026. I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mrs. DiGiacomo will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the fees by a 7-0 vote.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I will get you the details, but I believe that cleanup is on the 18th,
April 18th,
I believe, yes. I don't think it's this weekend, I think it's next weekend.
everything is on April 18th.
Mr. President, can I ask the city manager one more question?
Go ahead, yeah.
What, when I drive over that river every day, and there's a tree in the river, like just north of the ambulance place. Do we have like a harbor master or somebody that can go out there and yank that out of there? I just hate
Yeah,
to see
so-
someone not see that at night with the boat and lose a haul.
Every year, our Port Authority with the harbor master, they either contract with a company to remove logs in the river, or they have volunteers that do it, yes. We're not at the point yet where we'll start scouring the river, because we've got a couple more washouts to go, I believe. But yes, that's usually done before boating season.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay, Mr. Khan, do you have a report this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, we have several items, and the first item is an ordinance to make supplemental changes to appropriations in the general fund and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Ashtabula, state of Ohio, for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2026, in the amount of $26,413.37. The next item is, we need to repeal ordinance number 2026-50 in order to adopt a new ordinance with an updated payroll for the city of Ashtabula and Ashtabula City Health District. And the last one is adopting an ordinance to formally include Small Cities Program grant as a pass-through expense in the Permanent Improvement Fund, number 412, in the fiscal year 2026.
Okay. Any questions for the finance director? Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
okay, so I saw the one was, I think the solicitor's office, it went like part-time to full-time? Somebody in, but the other one, because I'll normally, copy everything and print it out, and then I'm comparing all these. So can you just like in a nutshell
Oh, the supplemental appropriations?
on that, we're repealing and replacing?
Yes.
That's the only change. That's going from part-time to full-time is the only change in the payroll ordinance.
On that one?
Yes.
Yes.
It's, we're adding full-time victim advocate. That's why we're increasing the budget in the opioid settlement fund for that
Yes.
purpose.
Okay.
And the first line is an increase in the fire operating budget because they just got a donation of $1,500 that they are willing to spend sooner than later.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Solicitor, was that the position that we were sharing with the county?
Well, yes and no. It was the position we were hoping to share with the county, but the county decided that they were gonna hire a third full-time victim advocate and didn't want to partner before this person was hired. So she's been part-time since she came on board. And she's been so helpful in dealing with victims and getting witnesses to us and helping find restitution amounts for people And she spent Thursday getting somebody into a shelter that I spoke to the city manager and asked about the possibility of making her full-time, how that would impact the city's budget. And he was kind enough to agree that for this year, if council approved, that we would take what's needed from her salary, right? From the opioid settlement
Yep.
fund, and fund her through the opioid settlement money. Right, for the other half of what wasn't budgeted. And then on the understanding that she's gonna spend part of her time looking for grant money to cover at least a portion of her salary for the next fiscal year.
And if that does not happen,
Then I'll be coming hat in hand. God willing, the opioid settlement will be more than it is right now, but yeah,
If
We're
you,
gonna
re-
try.
yeah, and if you recall, a lot of this that the victim advocate is doing now was one of our wonderful unfunded mandates from the state of Ohio, where new reporting or new notifications and reporting has to be done for victims of crime. But it's a lot of work that has to be done now, that, of course, they did not send any funds to do.
So we have to notify a victim of every hearing that comes up. They have to have the opportunity to be there. If she contacts them by phone to see if they're all right with the plea offers we're making, because they have the right to come to court and say, no, I don't agree with the plea offer, but they have to know what it is. So she does a lot of that. And she's starting to keep better statistics through Matrix of what she's doing. In the last month, she had 446 contacts with various victims and provided 99 different services to victims, from explaining the process to them, to being in court with them, to getting them in contact with counselors, to watching kids while mom testified. I mean, she does all of it. And in looking at the opioid legislation and some of the things that the Recovery Ohio or the One Ohio Recovery grants have been going through, she's starting to track how many of our victims are victimized by people who are drug dependent. So if an assault victim is assaulted by somebody who's drug dependent, or a robber is trying to get drug money, or anything like that, we think that that may qualify as part for grant money from the One Ohio Recovery Fund. Because part of that fund is to make whole families that have been impacted by drug-dependent individuals. So if we can provide support through the court system to those families or to individuals who have been victimized by drug-dependent people, we feel like that also fulfills the mandate of Recovery Ohio. So that's one of the grants that we're kind of gonna gear for, that we think there's a decent possibility we might get. The other is obviously just a general grant from the Attorney General's office, but she's been looking at 4 or 5 just last week, because she understands that the best way to keep the money there is to find the grants. So she's working on it.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Khan. Also, Ms. Cooper, do you have anything for us tonight, other than?
Other than to ask you to please let Emily be full-time, that was primarily my request. We have no pending civil litigation against the city where the city is potentially liable for large quantities of money. We have no matters where the city is suing individuals, where we may potentially recover large quantities of money. We have not forfeited large quantities of money in the past 30 days, so pursuant to the charter, I have nothing to report, or that is my report.
For the, okay. And could I ask, any progress on Harbor Ridge?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There is they reached a consent agreement, as I understand it. So Harbor Ridge and the city agreed to a list of things that need fixed,
Okay.
and a timeline for the fixing, and Harbor Ridge is in the process of going through that right now.
Okay,
So-
good, good.
Mr. President?
Thank you. Yes,
Madam Solicitor, and if they don't reach those deadlines, what are the consequences?
They could be held in contempt by the court. They could be fined on a daily basis. We could turn them over to the Attorney General's office and let the Attorney General shut them down, like happened to a similar complex in New York. No, it was in another part of Ohio, but it was theirs. And the Attorney General just came in and said, you're done. HUD was recently there and conducted an inspection. We're still waiting for the final results of that, but that is another possibility. I think the conversations that Ms. Colgan has had with their attorneys and now their management group seem to be, from the city's perspective, positive. There is an absolute goal, hard and fast, to get the water and the furnaces fixed before September, or by September, because we're not gonna go through another winter like we did.
With no heat.
That's just unacceptable.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Ms. Milberg, do you have anything for us this evening?
I don't have anything.
Thank you. We will go on to our committee reports, community development, economic development.
The Community Development, Economic Development, Parks and Recreation Committee met on April 1st with all members present. We had a really strong presentation on the Welcome Home Ohio program. Ashtabula County secured a $750,000 grant to build about 6 new homes, help make home ownership more attainable for working families in our community. The city manager shared updates on several projects, including Collins Boulevard, going out to bid this month, the Main Avenue sidewalk project starting soon, and continued progress on our facade programs and parks. We also have some great community events coming up, the Memorial Day Parade on May 25th, and City Cleanup on May 9th. And we're looking for volunteers. Hint, hint. Finally, I want to acknowledge a generous $5,000 donation to support improvements at Clifford Caden Presidential Park. That was from my neighborhood collaborative, and we really do appreciate that. We're making steady progress. I'm proud of the work happening across our city. And I do want to ask the city manager one question. On April 18th, the land bank said for the Welcome Home Ohio program that, did they come up with a time and place for that?
Mr. President, Ms. DiGiacomo, no, they have not finalized that yet.
Okay.
I did see some emails bouncing around. Several members of the Land Bank Board were not available on the 18th. I'm not sure what they're going to do at this point, but as soon as that's released, we'll let you know.
Okay, so just so the public is aware, if the Welcome Home Ohio is something that you would want to participate in, they are going to have an upcoming event, I guess, date and time to be announced. And we will announce it through council? Great, thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. Giacomo, I'm not sure if this is for you or Mr. Timonier. Mr. Timonier, those 3 addresses that he gave of vacant land where they want to build, I know the one on Station Avenue, I think that's obvious to me, it's what ward that's in, but I was a little confused for the one, at least one on West 36th Street and the other one, because of the way they cut up those streets, it's difficult to determine which ward they're in. You know?
I would have to compare the aerial map to our map to determine. I thought all of the homes were in, the new ones were going to be in Ward 3. It would take me some time to do that, so I can get back to you on that.
One of them is pretty clear, but it's just those 2 on the numerical streets I
Sure.
wasn't sure about.
So it was Station, and what were the other 2 west?
West 36th and
Is it 38th?
30th?
West 38, okay, yeah,
I'm
those
not
should
sure.
be. And they're all the same style, right? They're all gonna be the two-floor thing that he showed? Yeah,
Mr. President, yes, the first three will all be two-story.
in the same style, right? Mhm, okay. And those are gonna be up by the fall, according to what I saw, and
They're gonna
then,
be up, the first one should be up relatively quickly, within the next 2 months, I thought.
Okay.
It's being built right now. Yeah,
is it being built right now?
not on location, but the
In the
modules are
factory,
being, yes,
yeah,
in
and
the
then they'll
factory.
bring it here, yeah.
Correct.
Right.
36th and 34th. Do you have the? addresses?
34th,
Yes, 509 West 36th,
34th, Ms. Milburn? Okay,
526 West 34th.
526.
Could you say that a little louder?
Sure. The addresses are 509 West 36th Street and 526 West 34th Street, and then 3835 Station Avenue.
Thank you. And what I heard, those will all be tax abated. Right?
It's up to the owner to request those, but as the gentleman suggested during the meeting, it's a very helpful tool
Yeah.
for the financial portion of this.
Yeah, I heard, yeah, okay. Thank you, and thank you for the addresses, Ms. Milberg. Okay, finance and personnel,
Yes, we had a meeting on March 20th. The city manager provided the finance department's report for Mr. Khan, who was at a seminar. He reported a positive trend in delinquent income tax collections. He attributed this to the city's decision to file delinquent taxes with the AG's office because residents pay more attention from mail they get from the AG's office than they do from the income tax department. However, this trend will level off as taxes are paid. The finance department is preparing to take care of over 8,500 non-filing accounts after the tax season, and this will take over 4 years to complete. The manager reported that irregularities have arisen in the JED numbers. Withholding information has not been properly reported to the city. The city has been working with auditors to help alleviate this situation going forward. 2 funds have shown negative balances, that being sanitation and wastewater treatment. The negative balances have been attributed to new billing cycles and sanitation increases and the county taxes not yet being received. The manager warned that the city's investment rate will fall due to interest rates also falling. The city's investments have done very well, but, and we have budgeted conservatively, the manager has, for the 2026 investment income, so we should be very well. The manager reported that the 2 sewer jet positions are to be filled. Have those been filled yet, Mr. Manager?
Mr. President, Ms. Foglio, yes.
Okay,
They
good,
have been
good.
working the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Yep.
Good. And the sanitation department has an almost entirely new crew. A couple of them I met just the other day, very young. 2 employees are getting their CDL and will sign a 3-year contract. Promotional testings will be scheduled in the police and fire department. Parks projects will have to be discussed as other city projects are scheduled to be done in downtown. And the manager stated that there's a problem with our city's boat, which is estimated at approximately $40,000 in repairs. The city requested to use Stone Garden grant funds from the county to repair the boat. The sheriff disagreed with the city's interpretation of the use of funds and denied the use of funds. And since the sheriff is a fiduciary of the grant funds, he gets the final say what and where the funds can be spent, which is very unfortunate for us. The next meeting is April 17th at 8:30.
thank you. Mrs. Foglio? Okay, seeing no questions, Public Works and Utilities?
Yes, we had a meeting on Tuesday, March 24th, here at 8:30 a.m. I kind of have a lengthy report. I'm going to try to condense it. But manager's report, the parks operations are scheduled to begin. That started the week of March 30th with 2 staff shifted to park duties. We're advertising for summer help. So if anybody you know out there, assist with parks, water pollution control, public works, and sanitation. As Mrs. Foglio said, 2 employees for the sewer jet, and we talked about the street sweeper. That's on tonight's agenda, so I won't go over that. We talked about fuel cost. So we discussed about that. The committee members noted price increases. We do have underground diesel and gas tanks here with some buffer from immediate price fluctuations, though future purchases could reflect higher. So we all know about that. No news, we talked about the recycling grant. So far, we've heard nothing, no updates on that, Mr. Manager? No? On the recycling grant yet?
We have not heard yet. I did send an email out just asking them what the status is because originally they were supposed to start expending funds April 1st. But it doesn't, nothing has appeared on their website and our application status is still blank.
Like sitting in queue, okay, all right. So that's ongoing. Hopefully, pretty soon we'll hear about that. On tonight's agenda was that the radar installation at the Carpenter Lake and West Avenue. So that loop, once that's in, the radar system will improve that traffic flow. Because right now, when you're there, and if nobody else is there, it's going to run on. It's the same cycle all the time. We talked about salt supplies, so the annual state bidding process starts this month or May. Water pollution, Mark Verzella provided the report. They're working on outfall relocation project with a study plan for April in the boat slip area. This is busy time down there. Disinfection season starts now with E. coli testing scheduled to begin in mid-April. Recirculation pump has been ordered for the digester. The generator had some issues with its day tank fuel transfer system. That was repaired in-house along with replacement of radar level indicator control. Also on that note of saving cost, we normally have a contract with Verdantis for industrial pretreatment services. That's $20,000 annually, and we talked a little bit in length about this. They're going to do that in-house. So what they'll do is they'll do a new RFP for time and materials, hoping to reduce annual costs to only $4,000 or $5,000. So that would save the city $15,000 or $20,000. But that department, we go through a lot. So, but we thank them for doing that. They do a lot of stuff. If they can do it in-house rather than send it out, they do. Safety training scheduled for April 23rd. Staffing is full. Really busy with outfall project complex in April because they're entering the new outfall structure and diverting 100% of the plant flow. Public Works, Mr. Milnick reported, we're transitioning from winter to spring, summer. The asphalt plant does not open until the week of April 20th, so patching some of those holes will be better after that. Because I think this winter kind of played havoc with the potholes. Mowing equipment has been serviced, that's ready to go. Tree removal. Leaf bag collection starts the week of April 13th. So they'll do wards and then the harbor. If you go on the City of Ashtabula website, I actually printed it. There's tabs across the top. You go to departments, Public Works, like halfway down there's a blue box and it has leaf bag pickup schedule. So it actually prints it out and then it has in there, it'll tell you how you bundle sticks and branches, and homes not picked up in the harbor routes will be picked up on their trash day. Is that correct?
We tried to.
Try to. Okay. So on that one, talked about the paving project. That's on for tonight. New business, we talked about construction runoff concerns in areas of the harbor. So Mr. Manager clarified complaints about damaged storm basins were unfounded with inspections confirming the infrastructure was not damaged. The silt fencing had been compromised during severe weather and violation notices did go out. The city's MS4 permit compliance was handled through GPD, which reviewed the project under an acre both before, during, and after construction. City manager noted the situation is unique due to the hillside location, but emphasized proper mitigation measures were in place. On Facebook, I know probably you saw the picture where all that sludge was in the pump station. From, a lot of it was from, they'll say it's flushable wipes. Well, they're little tiny writing that says don't flush them. I don't even know how that can legally that they do that, but it was just monstrous bunch of muck. So I talked to Mr. Verzella, and they do have flyers that they put out once in a while. He sent me one. Really, the only thing for the toilet to flush is paper, but people forget about the fats, oils, and the grease that'll go down your drain. So just remember all that kind of stuff. Metals, plastics, no medications, but the wipes are the guilty culprit. And we spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money on that, right? Correct. The only other thing that, on this also, you probably got letters, or people notified about NOPEC. So keep an eye out for a letter from NOPEC in April. It's required by the PUCO to send out letters to all existing and newly eligible electric customers. So the new rates are going to go out for electric in June of 2026. If you'd like to go, they do have meetings on this. The closest one is the Jefferson Library. It's on Friday, April 17th at the Henderson Library from 2 to 3. If you have questions on that, I know people all get called about electric rates, and a lot of times folks don't know. You can check or negotiate your rate or jump into a new one, or, you know, what do I do? So that information is out there. And our next meeting is going to be April 28th at 8:30 a.m. here.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills.
Mr. President, I
Yes.
do have one question. Are construction projects in the city required to submit a stormwater pollution prevention plan or erosion and sediment control plan before construction begins?
As I've already said, yes, if they're over an acre disturbed.
Oh, I didn't see that you ever replied to that. Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Councilor Mills, you talked about the recycling grant, and I think it's, and I stand correct, it's been 8 years since the Ward 3, I'm not sure about 4 and 5, hasn't had recycling bins. Is that about right? But that's all right, that's not my major question. My major question.
It's been a while.
Okay, so I guess my question is, in the event that the grant is not awarded, what's the plan B?
I think we went over that before, didn't we, Mr. Manager?
Several times, yes. There is no Plan B, it's all down to funding. We need this funding in order to buy, to purchase what we need to do in order to do that. Council did just recently raise the rates, so we should start seeing more money within the sanitation department fund, the enterprise fund. But yes, we've talked about that numerous times.
Yeah, we've talked about it, but I keep hoping that there's an update or there's some way that it can happen, so I'll keep asking to see if there's any change.
Well, council is in charge of the budget, so if you want to make amendments or somehow figure out how that funding could go into the enterprise fund, I'm all ears.
Thank you. And the other question, you mentioned employment opportunities. Do you have any more details around where folks can go for the summer jobs? And in particular, I'm thinking about lifeguards, because that's been asked. I'm not sure if we're there yet.
Mr. President, I can help you answer that. So on the city's website, there's an employment opportunities tab, and all of the positions that are currently available are listed there. We also are posted on the Ohio Means Jobs site. We posted in the Star Beacon as well. The lifeguards, we are not We have not entered into a contract yet with either the YMCA or YMCA has traditionally held that. We do have kind of like an RFQ, request for qualifications, out right now. If there's other organizations that can supply lifeguards, usually the YMCA in the neighborhood is, or in communities is the only one that can do that. But if the Y does submit and is awarded the contract, they would be the hiring agency. We don't hire the lifeguards.
Thank you.
And having said that, the YMCA, I believe, is always looking for lifeguards just for their pool indoors. So it would be, if somebody is interested in being a lifeguard, I would say that they should inquire now at the Y for the summer months.
Mr. Guerrero, Safety Forces?
Yes, Mr. President, we will be meeting on April 9th, I believe is Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
8:30 here, I'm sorry. That is 8:30 a.m. on Thursday here at the City Hall chambers, if anyone's interested.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. The Planning Commission had their meeting. They had several topics. They did approve a small engine golf cart repair shop on Bridge Street. There's been a garage down on Bridge Street that hasn't been used for a while. So a gentleman, in fact, if I went by today and I see they were already painting it and fixing it up. So that is going to be a golf cart and small engine repair shop. And they had quite a few parameters on that, limited hours, no weekends, noise restrictions, nothing parking outside. So they put quite a few restrictions on that. And the other item was for the old Dream Center up off of Main Avenue, off on, is it 57th Street? The church that is there is going to be doing some counseling with some of their members, and so they needed to get permission to have an office space in there. So those were both approved. There was a request for a house construction on 4th Street, and they requested some more information from that individual. The Historic Preservation Committee will meet this Wednesday afternoon, and I see they have quite a few items on their agenda. And so I'll report that back when we come on April 20th. Yes, April 20th, okay. Is there any discussion on new or proposed legislation? Is there any discussion on old business or legislation that's on for a second reading?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if this falls in here, but it's not legislation, but it's, so I know the golf cart inspections, well, you're supposed to operate them from May to, what is it, October? So how are we doing with that, or do we have any updates on, are we getting lots of stickers and inspections, and does anybody?
Mr. President?
Yeah.
At the last Safety Forces meeting, the
Yeah.
chief still made it pretty clear that they're ready. All you have to do is call there and they'll make arrangements they have everything ready to go. I mean, and to my knowledge, that has not changed.
We've done one inspection to date.
I'm sure we'll see more than one out, so we'll have to remind them that they need to be
Well, again, it doesn't
inspected.
start till May. I mean, weather's
Right.
just breaking. We're supposed to get 2 to 3 inches of snow tonight, so
Yeah.
we're not done yet.
Okay. All right, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Anything else? Is there any discussion for the good of the order? We have 5 minutes before our meeting starts. Is there any discussion for the good of the order? All right, seeing none, we will begin our meeting in 4 minutes. I'm going to call the city council meeting for the city of Ashtabula to order. Today is Monday, April 6, 2026. At this time, if you would please stand for the prayer and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions and all present here today, and your assistance further us, so that every word and work of ours may take its beginning from you, and, so begun, may through you reach its completion. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Milberg, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Holman?
Present.
Mrs. Mills?
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Here.
Mrs. Foglio?
Here.
Mr. Guerrero?
Here.
Mr. Simeone?
Here.
Mr. Roskovich?
Here.
Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Ms. Cooper? Mr. Khan?
Here.
Thank you. We have no reason to excuse anyone from tonight's meeting. We are meeting the Sunshine Law. At this time, we will have the reading of tonight's legislation.
Ordinance number 2026-63, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to make application to the State of Ohio Department of Development for a downtown buildings flexible grant program in the amount of $245,000 to assist with a project located at 1104 Bridge Street. Ordinance number 2026-64, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Param Electric to make upgrades to the West 19th, Lake Avenue, and West Avenue traffic signal. Ordinance number 2026-65, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Koski Construction for the purpose of paving city streets. Ordinance number 2026-66, an ordinance to make supplemental changes to appropriations in the general fund and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2026. Ordinance number 2026-67, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2026-50 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation. Ordinance number 2026-68, an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the City of Ashtabula and the Ashtabula City Health District. Ordinance number 2026-69, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of finance department obsolete assets. Ordinance number 2026-70, an ordinance to formally include Small Cities Program Grant as a pass-through expense in the Permanent Improvement Fund 412 in fiscal year 2026. Ordinance number 2026-71, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of obsolete and unneeded equipment from the Ashtabula Police Department. Ordinance number 2026-72, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Ascendance Truck Centers for street sweeper repairs. Ordinance number 2026-73, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Best Truck Equipment for the purchase of a Skag Zero Turn and push mower for Parks and Recreation. Ordinance number 2026-74, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment area tax incentive agreement with Sean and Delia Hoch for tax abatement at 100% for 7 years for new residential dwellings located at 1814 West 10th Street, Ashtabula, Ohio, 44004. Ordinance number 2026-75, An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment area tax incentive agreement with Mitchell Mulaski and Amanda Wood for tax abatement at 100% for 7 years for new residential dwellings located at 2602 Brook Lane, Ashtabula, Ohio 44004.
Thank you, Ms. Milberg. May I have a motion to approve the order of tonight's agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mrs. DeGiacomo moves and Mrs. Foglio has seconded. Is there any discussion? Just a reminder, those last three items are on first reading. All the other items are on, will be passed tonight.
I do have a question, Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. Chimenere, I apologize for not asking this through pre-council, it skipped my mind, but for ordinance 2026-71, where we're selling, which we all consider obsolete, is there, and I saw the list of those items, is there any way to either repurpose, sell, or how is that handled other than just trashing those items?
So if there is useful life out of there and we are able to do a bid process, we would do like a sealed bid where somebody would just bid on those items and turn that into the manager's office, and then we would open those, and the highest person that requested the highest money would go to them. Typically, these items are not worth anything and they just are disposed of. Or if we can get scrap value out of them, we'll scrap them.
Because I saw, this along with the printers and different things, wonder if some of those are salvageable for folks who might.
Many of those, the ink cartridges are so much to replace that they're actually cheaper to buy a new printer for some of those, so.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We have approved tonight's agenda by a 7-0 vote. We have no resolutions or special items that we will be dealing with this evening. And we have no communications to be read to council. So at this time, we will have citizen comments and community announcements, if there are any. Remember, you may address an item on tonight's agenda or any other item, and please state your name, some identifying address, and limit your remarks to 5 minutes.
Hi, my name's Ryan Humphrey, Ward 1, Walnut Boulevard. I wrote a letter. Firstly, I'd like to thank all of you for your public service. I know it can be very difficult at times, every one of you. And I appreciate all of your efforts. It was a difficult decision to come here tonight. I'm going to read an email I sent to City Council and a reply from Councilperson Foglio, whom I acknowledge to not having a friendly relationship with. I'm also going to gesture air quotes, as I do because they are in the email and not sarcasm on my part. My email was titled City Transfer Station Reuse Program, March 31st, 2026. Hi all, everyone on council. Would it be feasible to set up a small stall of concrete barriers where usable objects could be placed after people have been weighed at the transfer station? I have seen so many things that could have had a second life. It would be the environmental thing to do. It would save the city money, keep things out of landfills, and potentially help some of our residents. I just saw a stack of mid-century chairs get crunched up into a pile, and it made my heart sink. I'm sure someone could have put those to use. Maybe the stall fits the bucket of the front-end loader perfectly, and the stall gets cleaned twice a week. If it were publicized and had good signage, I don't think it would take any effort for the sanitation department. Just a thought. Below is a link to an artist's residency that works in a similar way. Thank you, Ryan Humphrey. Dear Mr. Humphrey, this is Councilperson Foglio's reply. Have you nothing better to do? Let's dive right into your harebrained idea. People bring items to the transfer station. Why? They don't want them. They are not useful to them, or they are broken. If things are useful to another person, they should donate them to the Salvation Army or Goodwill. But they choose not to. After all, it is their possessions to do what they want with them. So they bring unwanted items to the transfer station, pay a fee, have them disposed of, and that is that. They pay to have the items destroyed, not rehomed. You propose to have an employee or several employees go through the transfer station garbage, retrieve useful items, and then put them in a space. Who will pay for those extra employees to do that? Question mark. Not the city? Question mark. Secondly, what the residents pay to be destroyed is now in a pen for someone else to forage through. Who is going to watch and let residents into that pen for foraging? Thirdly, who's going to carry insurance to cover any forager from getting hurt in the pen amidst steel, glass, broken furniture, and items? Maybe you could have people drop off unused items to your business pen. What you don't want, you can bring to the city and pay to have them destroyed. I'm sure you will get thousands of pounds of unused, unwanted garbage, and you can forage through it. Best wishes, Kim Foglio. Chairperson Finance and Personal Committee, Co-Chairperson Safety Forces Committee, contact information at the bottom, a voice for the people. My reply was this: what I am proposing is that those utilizing the transfer station put things aside that might be of use on a voluntary basis in a designated area about the size of a parking spot that can be removed at the same time in the same manner that is already in place to move material by city employees. This would actually benefit the city financially, take no extra time, benefit our environment, as America is one of the most wasteful countries in the world, and it would potentially help some of our residents. I would suggest you looked into this idea further, as it is already being used across the country in other municipalities in one form or another. It is my hope that the outcome of me reading this is that a code of conduct is established and enforced with constituents and with one another on council. I think this is unacceptable. This is the vitriol and division that I expect from our current White House, not from city council member in a church, active in a church in a small town. I'm sure you've all seen the boat at Walnut Beach. That is a local example of reusing or repurposing something that was cast off and unwanted. It was filled with green water and leaves when I found it for free on Marketplace. All it took was a little imagination, some city support, pressure washing, and paint to turn it into a local icon that has appeared on everything from maps to magazine covers. Inside the boat, it says this: dream beyond what you can see.
Mr.
What is behind you does not define you. And it's time to start imagining bigger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you
Humphrey.
for your time.
Thank you. That's your 5 minutes. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Steve Chase, Arlington Avenue. I actually wrote this down. I actually thought I had 3 minutes, so now that I know I have 5, I'll just wing it. I'm bringing up an issue that I brought up to council back in December. I was here in December about a piece of property at the corner of 4th and Franklin. And I had a discussion with you guys when you were talking about CRA tax abatements over that property. Since then, and while I was there, I happened to be a half hour early. So I got to see City Council's attempt to adopt council rules for this year. And I was a little dismayed that during that adoption process, not only were you reading council rules that had the wrong address on them and had all of your meetings, assuming for the previous year, at the Key Bank building. All the meetings that weren't actually held at the Key Bank building because you don't own it anymore. So it's kind of embarrassing that you had rules that were adopted and in place last year, having this meeting and all of your subcommittee meetings in the incorrect building. You also spent 20 minutes arguing with Ms. Holman about the publication of her personal phone number on the city's website. I don't really care what phone number you publish there, but I contacted the city manager a month and a half ago, and we had a debate about some verbiage that's in the codified ordinance. I disagree with him, he disagrees with me, I'm fine with that. I emailed city council. I CC'd city council on those emails. I emailed all 7 of you, all 7, over my concerns about our disagreement and whether or not what you guys want to see in the codified ordinance, right? All 7 of you. I heard from 3 of you. 3. I got 3 responses. So my question is, why is city council so worried about posting email addresses, phone numbers, if you don't respond? Right? I get it. I get why you're sitting up there right now and you're not going to answer me. You're not going to give me a response. I totally understand that. Which is why I took the time to email all 7 of you the exact same email, not calling all 7 of you because the likelihood of me telling all 7 of you the exact same story is pretty low. So I chose to use email. 4 of you failed to respond. Of the 4, council president and vice president, and the ward council member who is responsible for that piece of property. So what are we doing here? What is council's excuse for that? And why are they not, why do they not feel the need to respond to the constituents that are electing you? You guys aren't up there for your own benefit. You're up there to represent the people of the city of Ashtabula. If you don't want to do it, don't be up there. It really is that simple. You guys chose to run for office. Nobody held a gun to your head. Nobody twisted your arm to run for office. You're choosing to sit there, do a better job. I encouraged you to do that once before, and apparently it's falling on deaf ears. I do have one other question I'm going to ask you. CRA tax abatement, I just heard it's on the agenda again. Why are you voting on something? What is your authority as council? I've read the ordinance. Where in that ordinance does it give you any authority to vote on that property? It's a simple question. Vice President of Council is shaking his head right now. I'm assuming you read it after I handed it to you. So why are you voting on something you have no legal authority to vote on? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chase.
Can I say something? Mr. Chase, I know that I replied to your email. And Mr. Humphrey, smartass or not, I did reply to your email.
You did reply to me.
Yes, I did.
You are one of the 3 that did.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone else who would like to address council?
D. Scruggs. First of all, I want to thank, there's a couple people I came to you personally to ask questions. Because the one thing I want to do, I don't come up here to waste my time. I want to understand some of the purposes of why you're here. I want to understand, and I want to get people to realize, we voted for you. We voted for you to do a job for us. Not to put your agenda on the whatever it is, for us. We're the citizens. And believe me, if we're smart next year, the ones that aren't doing anything, hopefully the community won't vote for you. I want to thank the manager. I had a couple questions I didn't understand, but I went to him and he took time out of his busy schedule to address me. I still don't understand all of it, but I understand it better than I did previously. Solicitor, I appreciate her time. I had questions legally that she could answer, and I'm sure she was qualified to do it. I just came from a meeting at the library. I was very, very educated on some of the issues. And some of the persons that said they took this last year, or a year, or whatever, you need to go back and take this again. Because things have changed in the last year, even in our national organization. So how could you sit here and say you took that a year ago when things are still changing in this area? Thank you for your time, but one thing I want everybody really to remember, we voted for you guys. And when we voted for you, we thought you're gonna help us from the least to the greatest.
Thank you, Mrs. Scruggs.
Anthony Oquendo, Ward 1. So the city master plan meeting was, I don't know, what, a week, 2 weeks ago at this point now, a week and a half. And I found it very informative. I really liked the direction we're headed, but I have some questions. Since the meeting, it's been brought up to my it's been brought to my attention, especially with this whole, question mark as far as where the YMCA is going to be built, or what's going to happen with the YMCA. Initially, it was supposed to go next to the library, but it's been brought to my attention that there are other plans possible for that location, a VA clinic, and with the master plan meeting, I'm not sure, I would love some clarification, whether that's a VA clinic in that area would be part of the plan. We already have a VA clinic. As a veteran myself, I completely appreciate there being a VA clinic here, but we have a VA clinic already. Also, that is putting more health services on this side of town, whereas with the master plan meeting, we're talking about making Lake Avenue, where the hospital is, basically the medical corridor within the city. So I'm not sure how that aligns, excuse me, how that aligns with the plan for the city going forward. So I just want to, I don't know what the details are of that, if it's still gonna, still in the works, or if it's been kicked to the side. But two things, I definitely would love to see the YMCA stay local to this side of town, just because it is centralized. And I know a lot of students who walk from their home, south of Route 20 and to the YMCA. I also know a lot of students who walk from the east side, from Brayton, to go to the YMCA. And I don't think it would be beneficial for the YMCA as far as their membership numbers, or for the community as a whole to move all the way to Kent State. I would love to see it stay over here, but also I would really like to understand why we would put a VA clinic on this side of town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quendo. Anyone else who would like to
Mr.
address
President,
council? Yeah,
Would you mind if I addressed a couple of those questions?
I don't know anything about the VA.
So, first off, the VA clinic that was proposed over by the library, that was proposed long before we even started the master plan revisions and things like that. There's a process where the Washington DC VA puts out an RFP, request for proposals for developers to build a VA clinic. This particular developer, along with several others around Ashtabula County, and they want a new one within the county, within certain parameters and distances from Route 20 is what they were looking at. It sounds like this is an addition to the services already offered, because they need more services within our area. So it doesn't sound like anything's closing down. I do not believe that request for proposals has been awarded yet to anyone. We've checked in with the developer, he's heard nothing. But I do know that there were other locations throughout this corridor, both in Ashtabula Township and us, that were looking at locations. So we're hoping for the spot, but we're not sure. And again, but this all superseded the talks about updating the master plan. This goes back years. I was asked to be on the groups that were exploring a new Y and all of the different things that were going on related to that. And one of the central things that kept on coming back and reoccurring was to be in a destination that is accessible. And this kind of downtown area was that place. The Thursday before their annual meeting, I received a message asking if I was going to the annual meeting. Unfortunately, I already had other plans that night, which I was not able to go to the WISE meeting. And that's when I found out they were announcing a new site. So there is, and I'll just call it what it is, there's some dumb comments out there on Facebook about the city is forcing them to go to Kent State, and that we're gonna buy the current Y location and build a Taj Mahal of a city hall over there. Where this is coming from, God only knows, but it's out there. There is nothing like that. As a matter of fact, the only thing I've asked the Y, if they do leave that location, let us be at the table when they're discussing who to sell it to, so that we don't get another mega gas station or something like that. I think there's a better use for that corner. So it was a surprise to me, and I did call a few council people and ask them if they had heard. Many of them had not at that point. So the announcement of this Y going to the Kent State was kind of known to us at the night of the meeting. We did not have any input on that before that time.
Can I
Thank you.
piggyback off that? So I had made a Facebook post on my political page after that meeting, sharing what I had learned. And the YMCA has personally asked that any questions get referred directly to them. Because I was trying to field questions and there was a time in my life when I was on the YMCA board, but I am no longer, so any questions, they do want them, they ask them directly. That's what the request is.
Thank you.
All right, I'm starting the timer. Hi, I'm Blake Hinkle, Ward 1. I just wanted to come up, I had a couple comments. The first, I wanted to thank the city's efforts for Welcome Home Ohio. I think that program's amazing. I'm publicizing it. I encourage everyone in this room to get on social media and promote it. We all know that housing is a very scarce resource, and I think it's really great that we're taking outside the box approaches to find people homes, especially in our community, and allow them to build generational wealth. The next, I wanted to thank Mr. Guerrero and Ms. DiGiacomo for coming to the racial wealth gap simulation. It meant a lot. I think the hallmark of a good adult is someone that, in the face of deeply held beliefs, can put down their swords and challenge themselves with new information. And I saw that with Mr. Guerrero and Ms. DiGiacomo, so thank you both. That was eye-opening work for me today. I also attended it for the first time, and I just can't overstate how much of an asset Ms. Holman is to the community, bringing her wealth of knowledge to all of us to just make us all better people, herself included. One of the things I love when I speak with her is that we're learning from each other, just not me learning from her. She learns from me, I learn from her, and I think that that's a beautiful symbiotic way to conduct oneself in a friendship, a business relationship, and whatever. The final point I wanted to make is just hearing about Mr. Humphrey's idea regarding recycling. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that it's really short-sighted to let things become one use and throw away. And furthermore, I agree with the sentiment that it would take literally very little effort at all outside of some signs to have a little partitioned area to do things in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. Anyone else who would like to address council at this time?
I have a question.
You could approach the podium and state your name and some identifying information, please.
Jennifer German, 1719 East 44th Street, Ward
you.
4. Is there a way to get information for any citizens that weren't able to attend the meeting at Kent State for the master plan?
Mr. President, we are working on updating the portion of our website that has the master plan to include the second meeting information. So the slides that were presented should be up there, and there's another survey that we're going to circulate that the participants at that meeting started taking it, and then there's going to be an online survey to that as well.
Because it does say online that that's available on the city's website, but it's not on there.
So the first one is on there, the second
Right,
meeting
the
is not
second
yet.
one, from March 26th. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Timmernier, will hard copies, paper copies of that survey also be available for folks?
We typically don't make those available, but if somebody needed it printed out, I'm sure we could. I don't remember how big that document was. We'd have to look. So if somebody does that as a public records request, we'd have to follow the procedures as far as if there's a cost to it over so many pages. But digitally, it's available.
And Mr. Manager, remember we talked, because I had some folks like at the senior center, and they wanted to know, could we stream it? And we weren't able to do that. I know the next one is at the hospital.
Correct.
So then we'll be able to put that on our site then?
The dates and everything?
No, the same information.
Same information once it's done, yes, yes. Live streaming, unfortunately, all the equipment is in this building, so it doesn't travel with us.
Okay. So you can keep us updated when you put second one on? Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else wanting to address council, we will go on with our meeting. Councilor comments, liaison reports, meeting announcements. I believe we have done that. Approval of minutes, please.
March 16th, 2026 pre-council meeting was called to order at 6 PM by President Roskovich. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Ms. Holman, Mrs. Mills, and Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, Finance Director Khan, and Clerk of Council Milberg. Absent, Mr. Simeone.
May I have a motion to waive the minutes of these readings?
Second.
Mr. Guerrero moves, Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the minutes by a 7-0 vote. The regular meeting minutes?
March 16th, 2026 regular council meeting was called to order at 7 PM by President Roskovich. Ward 1 Councilor Foglio offered the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Ms. Holman, Mrs. Mills, and Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, Finance Director Khan, and Clerk of Council Milberg. Absent, Mr. Simeone.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves, Mrs. Foglio seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the minutes by a 7-0 vote. We will now go on to our ordinances for this evening.
Ordinance number 2026-63, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to make application to the State of Ohio Department of Development for a downtown buildings flexible grant program in the amount of $245,000 to assist with a project located at 1104 Bridge Street. Ordinance number 2026-64, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Param Electric to make upgrades to the West 19th, Lake Avenue, and West Avenue traffic signal. Ordinance number 2026-65, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Koski Construction for the purpose of paving city streets. Ordinance number 2026-66, an ordinance to make supplemental changes to appropriations in the general fund and all other funds listed on Exhibit A for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Ashtabula, State of Ohio, for the period January 1st through December 31st, 2026. Ordinance number 2026-67, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2026-50 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation. Ordinance number 2026-68, an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the City of Ashtabula and the Ashtabula City Health District. Ordinance number 2026-69, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of finance department obsolete assets. Ordinance number 2026-70, an ordinance to formally include Small Cities Program Grant as a pass-through expense in the Permanent Improvement Fund 412 in fiscal year 2026. Ordinance number 2026-71, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to dispose of obsolete and unneeded equipment from the Ashtabula Police Department. Ordinance number 2026-72, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Ascendance Truck Centers for street sweeper repairs.
Thank you, Ms. Milberg. Is there a motion to handle these items in consent agenda format?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves, Ms. Holman seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will handle these items in consent agenda format. Is there a motion to waive the reading of these items in their entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves, Ms. Foglio seconds, Mrs. Foglio seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the entire legislation by a 7-0 vote. Is there a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings?
So moved.
Mrs. Foglio moves. Mr. Roskovich will second. Any discussion? Will you please call the roll?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Ruskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
We will waive the charter requirements by a 7-0 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of these items of legislation. Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Ruskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Thank you. These items of legislation have passed by a 7-0 vote. The next three ordinances are on their first reading.
Ordinance number 2026-73, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Best Truck Equipment for the purchase of a Skag zero-turn and push mower for Parks and Recreation. Ordinance number 2026-74, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment area tax incentive agreement with Sean and Delia Hoach for tax abatement at 100% for 7 years for new residential dwellings located at 1814 West 10th Street, Ashtabula, Ohio 44004. Ordinance number 2026-75, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment area tax incentive agreement with Mitchell Mulaski and Amanda Wood for tax abatement at 100% for 7 years for new residential dwellings located at 2602 Brook Lane, Ashtabula, Ohio 44004.
Thank you. Is there a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mrs. DiGiacomo moves. Ms. Holman seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. President?
Yes.
Where is Best Truck Equipment?
Mr. President, Mr. Guerrero, I believe they are in Cleveland. I think the address is in the ordinance, but I believe they're out of Cleveland.
There's nowhere around here we can buy a
Painesville.
zero turn?
I'm sorry, Painesville.
Painesville.
Yes. Not that sells Skag equipment, no.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of that legislation by a 7-0 vote. All right, we have no public hearings scheduled, we have no second readings, and no administrative approval votes. So this is the time of council when we could have something, tell us something we don't know.
Mr. President, I have
Yes.
something.
Go ahead, Mrs. DiGiacomo.
So America's 250 speech contest, it's for two age groups, 10 to 14 and 15 to 18. It's a 4 to 5 minute speech on America's first 250 years at the Commissioners' Meeting Room, the second floor of the courthouse in Jefferson. It is Thursday, May 28th, 4 to 6:30. Individual speech times will be assigned. This is so you can experience public speaking, research history of America and/or Ohio, become passionate about the next 250 years. It is sponsored by Ashtabula County America 250 and the historic Route 6. You can contact Gary Hunter. I have his email address, but if people are interested, if you just reach out to me, I'll forward you this information. But you can show your patriotism and win some cash. And
Did you talk about that? 45, you have to give a speech for 45 minutes?
4 or 5 minutes.
For 4 or 5 minutes?
Yeah, short.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard you say 45 minutes, and I was like, that's
I might have
kind of
said-
a long speech.
You wanted to judge, this is what you wanted to do. If they were 45 minutes, right?
4 to 5 minutes, okay.
4 to 5, sorry. And the other thing is early voting starts tomorrow. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Anyone else?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Mills.
I had a couple things. The library, if you're thinking about giving back to the community, they're having a volunteer fair at our Ashtabula Public Library. It's on Friday, April 24th, from 11 to 1. It says, enrich your life by serving at a local food pantry, library, school, art center, history museum, hospital, animal shelter, garden, and more. So they have, I guess, stations and tables set up. So, and also the Friends of the Library, they're gonna have a book sale also on May 1st and May 2nd, that's the weekend. And the Liftbridge community, they're having their cleanup. I mean, I know we're having our cleanup in May. They're having a light cleanup on April 21st at 9 a.m., trying to clean up down there before Mother's Day. And we don't have our street sweeper yet. And then again, on May 13th, if you'd like to help with putting in the flowers, we'll be down there then. Also, Ram USA is this Saturday and Sunday. The doors open at 6 a.m. We'll be there on Friday setting everything up, and the workers will get there Saturday and Sunday at 5 a.m. And it's a great program. It's not just for folks who do not have insurance. There's a lot of people, when we're there working, they're underinsured. So you can get an eye exam, you can get free glasses, you can get dental, you can get fillings, you can get mammograms. So please spread the word in a time where people are not taking care of their health because they're buying groceries or have to put gas in the car. It's a great program. So we're there Saturday and Sunday, and they open at 6 a.m., and I think the weather looks nice. Oh, I'm sorry, this is at Lakeside Junior High, the junior high building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Does anyone have anything else to tell us something we don't know? Okay, seeing nothing then, we will remind you that our next meeting is Monday, April 20th, 2026, and we will begin at 6 o'clock again. And until then, hopefully the weather will get better. We won't have that snow, and everyone have a good couple